There is no better way to measure how far society has evolved but through music. Music has long been accepted as a tool for social change, but not many realize that social change affects music as well. Music is powerful at the level of the social group because it facilitates communication, which goes beyond words, enables meanings to be shared, and promotes the development and maintenance of individual group, cultural, and national identities. It is powerful at the individual level because it can induce multiple responses: physiological, movement, mood, emotional, cognitive, and behavioral. Our brains actually respond differently to happy and sad music.
The Vietnam War had a huge influence on musicians of the time, and Bob Dylan became a famous advocate for a deeper social recognition of the problem. His song, "The Times They Are A-Changin'," was released when he was already a cultural influence, and his metaphorical message about social upheaval was recognized, and it became the soundtrack to the era. Bob Dylan and many other artists would promote social change during this time and succeeded to make a difference through their music.
Social change and music go hand in hand. Our values and the things we think are acceptable blends in with the music we listen to. It is very obvious that our generation is much different from our grandparents and our great-grandparents. There are many social aspects in which we find appropriate now, but if we were to show our grandparents, they would say otherwise. An example of this is of how it plays out in the music culture is music videos. We have become very immune to seeing inappropriate and degrading music videos that have women dressed up very skimpy, and many of the videos are centered around drugs, money, and sex. The reason we've become so used to seeing these videos and might not think much of it is because of the social change our generation has went through.
A present-day example of music-related social change activist group would be the Russian band Pussy Riot. They use their music to express themselves and speak out against discrimination against women and homosexuals.
The rap culture is also a very controversial when social change is brought up. Many people argue that it is the reason for a lot of youth violence and the influence of the East Coast-West Coast rivalry that shadowed the deaths of Tupac Shakur and Notorious B.I.G. Although there are some negative influences that come from rap music and affect our social environments, there is of course positive things that come from it too. Rap, like other forms of music, cannot always be fully understood of what the message is unless it is studied. Since it is so influenced on our social life today, it is important to pick out the positives from it.
The N-word is another controversial topic when it comes to rap culture. You constantly hear it being said in rap songs, and some people look at it as a normal and okay thing, while others are against using the word. Many people argue that a word means nothing unless you give it power. Many black people would say that they can reclaim a word deeply rooted in racism, while others are 100% against it. They believe that after all the civil rights movement advocates have done, it is disrespectful to use this word because it brings back terrible memories from the past that older generations lived through. Here is a video of the well-known rapper Jay-Z discussing the matter with Oprah.
So, I've been, known for not being a big fan of rap music because of misogynist lyrics and because of the use of the N-word. And in the magazine, we discussed the use of the N-word. You obviously feel differently. And
A little bit.
a little bit. A little bit. And tell everybody why.
People give words power.
Yeah.
And for our generation, what we did was we took the word and we took the power out of that word. We turned a word that was very ugly and hurtful into a term of endearment. So, even when someone says, there's still intention behind what you say. But pretty much took the power out of the word. Because if we just start removing words from the dictionary, just make up another word the next day. So we don't address the problem. The problem is racism, right? That's really the problem.
I guess my generation's just going to have to die out. We're just going to have to all just be dead. And this morning I was saying, well, from the grave, I'll be go, Jay, I still disagree. And the reason,
you don't have to say that.
And the reason I feel that way, because my generation and generations before me, obviously, coming up through the civil rights movement, and I am where I am because there was a generation before me that fought for civil rights, and that word carries such a sense of hatred and degradation And I always think about when I hear the word, even when I'm at the concert and people are, screaming it at your concert, I think about black men who were lynched, and that's the last word they heard.